is pure, the grass, it breathes. Each blade a whisper is calm and trusting in its place. I dig my toes into the earth and lie beneath the trees. It was then I found the stars were made for me. It was then I found that I could finally believe.
All right, can you hear me, Madness? Are you there? Hopefully you can hear me. Let's see if this... Oh, wait, you know what? I gotta get my lights on. Let's see. My new lights that I set up are not quite working, so I need to do some work on those. So I need to do some work on my lights. I had like this brand new super professional lighting setup, but it's not working right now, which is too bad because it made my vids look amazing. What's up, Melinda? What's up, love? So today, I'm going to tell y'all a story that I think I'm going to record and put on socials, because I had a little bit of an infuriating thing today that I'm going to tell y'all about. But I'm going to songwrite. I'm going to songwrite for the next hour, mainly because I lost a lot of time because of getting stiffed today on something that is very frustrating. But I need to write no matter what. Yeah, I might as well do it on stream with y'all and kind of let you hear what I'm cooking with. So, I am going to write on here. Okay, let's make sure. Okay, good. So you can hear me, Melinda. That makes me happy. So, that is what we are going to do today. And I'll kind of walk you through some of my concepts that I'm working on. And then I have like a songwriting playlist, which is what you hear right now. Do we need pitchforks? Yeah, kind of a little bit. And so, I am going to, I'm going to put on my little songwriting playlist, which is like 3 instrumentals by City of Sound. Because a lot of times I don't actually write to the song itself. A lot of times, I actually write to like soundscape. It allows me to like emotionally get into the concept. Oh, thank you. So that's what we're going to do today. So it's going to be like really low key. It's not going to be like super high energy. I'm going to be like tapping into like my songwriting mode. But I'll give you like insight on like what the concepts are for some of these songs. I'll let you hear a little bit of like the demos. None of them are like built out. Obviously, we're finishing the Graves or Gardens mix right now. But also like some cool things just to tell you, that I think is actually pretty awesome. We actually, locked in, a deal, for the album, which I'm very excited about. So, as y'all know, you have been funding our second album that I'm going to write on today, and I've been working on. But something cool is, we finally have locked in kind of the team all the way up until next June for how we're going to wrap like the album. Obviously like the funding isn't fully there yet, but I don't care. Like we're going to lock it in, and I'm just going to believe that it's going to get there, especially with what we're planning and with the way some of these songs sound and where these songs are going to go and just how good they're going to sound and frequency wise, how good they're going to sound. So, we have locked in the mixing engineer, who's also going to be audio engineering all of our sessions all the way up until June, which takes a humongous, massive stress off my back, which is great. I'm going to turn the gain up just a little bit on here. There we go. It takes a massive stress off my back knowing that we have like that person locked in. So I'm excited about that. What's up, Chris? What's going on? So super excited about that. and that was a big win yesterday. Okay, just I'm gonna pause the music for a second so I can tell y'all a story, and because I think I'm gonna just record this for socials, because I'm not gonna lie, Madness, I'm a little bit furious. There is this thing in the entertainment industry that you don't have to show up for meetings, and it is insane. There is no other industry where you can show up to a meeting 45 minutes late, or in this case, just not show up at all, that you scheduled, and you still stay in business. We literally had an independent label, and this has happened with a lot of independent labels. They reach out, they get in contact with us, we schedule a meeting, they want to talk over like a deal. And then I set aside time to make sure that like I'm ready, like our press kit is ready, 1 page, everything, to have the discussions. And then you just sit there in a Zoom call and no one shows up. It is the most just like disregarding and bullshit thing. And I'm so tired of it, and I'm so sick of it. And I don't want this to be negative. This is just more like, this is the reality of like the artist experience. I think a lot of people think that artists are lazy, that they're the ones who don't show up. That is not true. Artists are hungry. They show up. They want to get deals done. They just treat you like they can do whatever they want. So I just wasted an hour sitting in a chair, waiting in a Zoom call with no communication, nothing, for a label that reached out to me. It is so infuriating, and just no one cares. It's really, really, really infuriating. So, it just, yeah. And then like they tried to send me a text 2 hours later, that the reason they missed the call was because they were working with some other name drop an artist, because they try to do like this thing like, see, we're still cool, so you shouldn't be mad because we couldn't take your call because we were working with some other artist. I was like, I don't know who the hell that is. Also, I don't care. Like, be professional. Treat people like they matter. You're the one who approached the artist. You're the one who wanted to do something with our music. It is something that I'm so tired of, and I feel like more artists should speak up about it, because the absolute disregard for like your time and for your profession and for your like the art that you make, it is pretty gross. So let's change that part of the entertainment industry a little bit, because from what I know, it is the only industry where you can not show up to a meeting with a possible partner or client and still stay in business. And they oopsie were busy to you. Yeah, well, and they oopsied were busy to us by trying to name drop, as if, because that's what they try to do. They try to like do this thing where it's like, it's so gross. Yeah, it's so gross, Madness. Like what, like so many these labels in the industry do. Like they try to name drop somebody as if that makes it okay that they didn't show up. But what's more infuriating is they didn't even give an update. They texted me this morning 3 times to make sure I was going to be there. I'm not kidding. I have the text. Like they texted me 3 times to make sure that I was going to be there. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be there. And they don't show up. Anyways, I don't want to start stream off on a negative thing, but it like just happened. And I was supposed to be like, name and shame. It was Red 13 Records. I don't even care anymore. I don't even care anymore. Madness, I think you tell me this would interest you. Because here's the thing. Let me tell you. Now, again, Madness, you know our rule, right? It must always end in hope. This stream's going to turn to a positive because you're going to hear some new demos. I'm going to songwrite, talk you through our concepts. But just to get this off my chest to y'all real quick, I think, so for that whole last hour and a half or 2 hours that I just wasted, I needed to record YouTube videos because I haven't had a YouTube upload in a long time. But I was like, no, this is an independent label that reached out to us. They've worked with some big artists. Like, I need to make this a priority because this could be big for our future. So not only now did I get stood up for that meeting, now I don't have the upload for YouTube tomorrow. And then at this time, I was going to be songwriting just by myself. But I was like, but I need something on the channel. So that's why I'm streaming right now. Because I was like, I need something. So I was like, well, I guess I can songwrite on stream and just hang out with the madness. Even though like songwriting streams are so boring because I just get quiet and listen to music and I write and I type. And I think I'm going to make a video next week. I am. I think that obviously I don't want the channel to be negative, so I'll keep it funny. But I think I'm going to start doing some vids on some experiences we've had because, man, madness, the disregard that we have experienced in the last, I would say, few weeks from certain things, it is very disappointing. And, you know, we've dealt with that a lot. But we've gotten to a point now where, like, we've grown a big enough following that, like, we've paid our dues for 8 years. We've dealt with that. And I actually had a call with John Reeves. We were talking about some things that have happened over the last few weeks. And I just finally told him, I was like, listen, brother, like, we no longer are going to allow these overarching, like, entities that either book us or want to have meetings or whatever. We are no longer putting up with being completely disregarded, not being paid, you know, like basically being thrown just to the side, and they just butter you up and throw you to the side. And I was like, we're not doing that anymore because everyone in the band, it's not even like a we're too big for that thing. It is a that should never happen to anybody thing. That shouldn't happen to any band, no matter how small they are. No artist. If you make a deal or a meeting or something, you treat that person with like respect and worth. And that's how we treat everybody. And everyone in the band brings something great to the table, and they're good people. And it's more like the members in the band don't deserve to be treated that way. And so from now on, like, we're not going to put up with it. I kind of just told the band, I'm like, again, I don't want because I don't want to put out vids that are negative on the channel, right? Like, I want it to be really positive and fun, which I'm going to twist. I'll turn all the stories so they're fun, but I'm like, it's time to put things at the forefront. Like some of these things we've dealt with, like, it's time to put those stories on the YouTube, and I'll edit them to make them funny. But it's like, because it's like, it does feel, it gets to the point where it's unhealthy to keep in. And it's like, I don't care. It's time to drop names. It's time to just put things out there of like, no, these people will treat you like shit. Like, that's the truth. You should write a song out of all those situations. At least you profit from that. Agreed. Hey, maybe I will for the album for Destination Arrival. So sorry, I'm coming in here a little bit frustrated, which I know I usually don't do, so I apologize, madness, because you know our rule. For myself, start a label and be respectful to artists. Well, you know, and it's funny because Nova and I have discussed just creating an entity that we will sign the band to just so it's protected. We've thought about just starting Madness Records in Indiana, and we'll just sign City of Sound under it as just like a conglomerate just so it's protected under an LLC. And also it just makes it seem like it really will make people like force you to respect because we can respond from the label or a team at the label. It's something we've seriously thought about because it's starting to get a little bit egregious. Oh, the music's been turned off this whole time. I'm sorry. I didn't realize the music's been turned off that whole time. But yeah, it's something that we've been thinking a lot about. Like a lot. Yeah, it's something we've been thinking a lot about just because we can invest. Wait. Y'all have already invested in the album, so I would never ask that. No. I would never ask that. I appreciate you. But I also have a couple other artists that I've written for and produced for. and they need like a form of representation too in those conversations, and having just like a label name next to it that is registered in an official music label will maintain that they are treated well. And it's just something that I've really been thinking about, especially lately. You have the right frustrated, and we will be there for the ups. I know, Cartoon. That's why I love y'all. You're amazing, and I love you. And let's be real. Like, I'm not down right now. Like, I'm about to songwrite a little bit. I'm about to show our label, our actual label. Like, I'm about to show y'all some demos. I'm going to tell you some concepts of what the songs are going to be about. I'm going to do a little songwriting. So, like, everything's great. Everything's great. I got nothing to complain about. It was more just something that, you know, that's like a farmer co-op. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is. You're not wrong. Yeah, you know, it's just those things of we work way too hard, and we also bring too much to the table, and like always we always remain like above reproach, right? Like with how we treat people and how we like come into a room when we do a show, and it's like, if we are not going to get that in return, in just simple respect, we don't need anything special, like just simple respect. You know, if you're playing a show, have load in, you know, itinerary ready, where you load in. Have load out scheduled and understood where you load out so we can pack up our stuff. Simple things. Simple things. Have sound check scheduled. Don't say that there's going to be a sound check and then all of a sudden be like, oh, you're not going to get one. Like, don't lie. Sounds like a stream where I could fall asleep to. Perfect, Carty. That's what I want, actually, because I'm a songwriter and like play some of these instrumentals, and it's supposed to be relaxing. So I want this stream to be relaxing. But just so y'all know, I think I'm gonna do a video next week of just like this is what it's like sometimes, and I'm just gonna tell the story and I'll edit it and make it funny. But I do think, you know, we already don't hide a lot from y'all, and I'm like, maybe I just need to put that on the channel so people can really see what it's really like out here, especially for like a fan-dependent artist like City of Sound. Just like the kind of just like disregard and disrespect you get, it really is disappointing, especially when we built ourselves up in such a way that like we do have a great base now. You know, we do have a following that's really loyal and amazing. Even then, they just it's like a weird flex to let you know that you're lesser than. And man, I don't like that. And I know y'all know I don't like that because I don't like when other people are treated that way either. So anyways, that was the thing that happened today. That was literally like 30 minutes ago, right before I was getting ready for stream. So let's songwrite a little bit. Yeah. Shall we? So as I said, this stream's going to be like, wait, what is happening? Oh no. Why was Spotify just repeat the playlist, dude? I don't need to go to other. How do I repeat a playlist on Spotify? I have a songwriting playlist. I don't want shuffle. How do I just like repeat a playlist? Do I just click that? Okay, maybe I just do that. Maybe that's what it is. It sounds like a stream where oh wait, I just read that. Look at me. So here's kind of what I'm doing. I have a lot of lyrics for things, concepts. I'll kind of run you through just like what these ideas are for Destination Arrival, like the album, and kind of talk you through what we're doing right now. We were mixing on Graveyard Gardens yesterday. We're really close. We're like 90% to getting the song done, which I'm really excited about because y'all are just going to hear us in a way you never heard us before, which is going to be amazing. But let's do some songwriting, shall we? So here, I'm actually putting my heady headphones on. I got to pull one ear off a little bit. Calming. From our first album, In the Beginning. So here, I'll kind of play you. I think, so this is going to be a little bit louder and heavier, but I remember I played you a little bit of the title track of the song, which I'm going to work on today, but I'm going to show you a couple other things too.
So here
It's going to be loud. I'm sorry.
side by side.
Turn it down a little bit.
Worlds at our feet.
Turn it down a little bit. There we go. Oh, your first songwriting? I love that. So this is just like a little demo that I'm still building out. You know, I'm going to build out this with the synths and stuff like that, but then the piano comes in. And I already have the melody and everything. But conceptually, like the idea that I want to do, that I'm going to write about, which I'm going to work on today, is y'all already know like the concept of the album. I want to create kind of this idea when writing for our listeners, because this album is not going to have as many social commentary songs. It's going to have a lot more like almost hero's journey songs, more like emotionally connecting songs that are kind of songs for the listener to kind of be the centerfold of the story. But, the main theme of the album is like, all this way just to get to the beginning, right? Like side by side. That's why the opening of Destination Arrival is, so here we are side by side with worlds at our feet, because Destination Arrival is going to be like a journey concept album of all of us like along with each other, and realizing this whole time that all we needed was each other, which I do love. I think that's really beautiful. And, the idea is that Arrival is a place, right? So like Arrival is a place, and that's kind of like why it looks like this. So like when you look at it, like if I do this, oh look, that's me. So if you look at this right here, so it's like this is destination colon arrival. So this is destination colon arrival. So the idea is that arrival is like an actual location, and that's like what we're chasing after, if that makes sense. And what I want the whole album to do from beginning to end, it's one of the reasons why we completely rebuilt Graves or Gardens, because the story of Graves or Gardens is perfect for the story of the album, right? Like the whole story of Graves or Gardens is literally someone convincing someone else to like leave the pain and the destruction behind, and like go into the wild together and go on this adventure to watch a world awake, to arrive at this beautiful place, and it's like see where it takes us. So Graves or Gardens is kind of a perfect spot for capturing the concept of Destination Arrival. And so I want Destination Arrival, because Destination Arrival will be like the single. We'll release Graves or Gardens first, but Destination Arrival will be like the big. Like I think Destination Arrival is going to be like a huge flag in the ground. I think Graves or Gardens is going to be like, it's going to help us start to break through, and the numbers are going to be really good, and then it sets up Destination Arrival perfect. And so I want to match those concepts pretty close to the story, because then I have a song like this. So this is called Whispers. And, I want the album to have these moments like a story would be, with people right next to each other, because, one person along the story would think about giving up, and the other person would, lift them up and encourage them to keep going. And then the other person would be in that place, and then they need another person to lift them back up, and then you're going to face storms. You're going to face all these things together, like on like an adventure, trying to arrive at this place. And so I want to write these little like story themes into the album, so it really hits all those marks, but it's still accessible as a single. Graves or Gardens. I can let you listen to the most recent mix if y'all want to. Here, I'll let you listen to the most recent mix. It is not done, but it's close. We're close, Madness. We are close. We gotta fix quite a few things, but we'll probably have it done by this weekend and wrapped. Here. Yeah, here.
Chose to heal. You may find the path beyond the pain. Your shattered shields are here, along the trampled fields, but the flower will guide our way.
We have to turn Nova up. Her violin's too quiet.
Chasing guardians of color, could take these skies together, could make a great escape. Why trade petals for shelter? We could hold on to each other and watch your world away.
Turn her up. But
Watch your world away. Watch your world away.
thank you, Charlie. Chris. Once it's done.
Those who remain and can face the night, who have entered the fray and lost every time. To you who sees a grave as an equal life, these days you no longer need your blade, your wrist for the last time. For the last
Yes, we take. We have upped our game in terms of mixing and just like stem quality
just to hear
to like industry standard,
you may find
which we've been missing for years.
path beyond the pain.
And then we gotta fix Nova's voice right here.
Here's to those that make us witnesses.
So there's still work to do, but it's really close. It's really close.
Chasing guardians of color, could take these guys together, could make a great escape. Reaching petals for shelter, we could hold on to each other and watch your world awake.
Madness, I'm going to ask you an honest question just because I've heard this song 1,000 times and like, you know, I also wrote it, I also built it, I also produced it, and now that we're in mixing, I've heard it so many times. I do need to ask, does that mix, like it hits all the standard of like industry standard for like rock songs, which is great. We're hitting all the frequencies and everything, but does it feel emotional? Like, does it make you feel emotional Genuinely, you know, don't butter me up. This is more me asking honestly, like just like the scape of it, like the drops and the dynamics. Like, does it feel emotional, big? Does it feel like cinematic rock? You know what I'm saying? Even outside of the things we need to tweak. Honest question. I've just lost all objectivity. Hell yeah, emotional, definitely. Okay, good. Oh yeah, I already know the notes for Nova and everything. Trust me. We need to do some EQ stuff, some frequency nerdy things. It does. Okay. That doesn't make me an emotional mess. Oh, what Kartsu, dude. Wait till you hear us with these mixes, like what you just heard, because it's going to be the best mixes we've ever had. And like things are just going to hit, like the dynamics are going to hit so much harder and crisper and brighter and just like even darker in depth. Like you're going to hear like a width and a depth you've never heard on our songs. Didn't release it to our ears. My eyes are tearing as we speak. Hey, I love that. Makes me feel like I have something in me every time I love that. Okay, good. Well, you know, it's one of those things when you listen to a song so many times that you're working on, you kind of lose the emotional tie to it. So I'm like, is this emotional? Like I was like, are people actually going to like feel something when they hear this? I know I like the dynamics of it. Like I'm like, cool, the drums and the bass sit where they need to, all these things. And it's like, but does it deliver the emotion and the story? I want to clear up the vocal a touch. We're going to do a little things to get the vocal to stick out just a little bit more. Because those words are so important to the song that I really want to make sure that like, especially new listeners can understand like what we're saying. I have my big speakers and annoyed neighbors right for that. But that's good though. Cause I think it emotionally delivers really well. And so here's another, so like this song it's going to be called Whispers. And the idea is it's going to happen in the album, kind of in that point where like, I need to listen to this outside of that. It's going to slap. Oh yeah. Melinda, 100%. I went, and watched a storm while listening to that mix. And I was like, oh, this rips. I was like, this emotionally rips. And it's the first time that like we are as loud as like industry standard rock mixes. Like we are as loud and we're hitting all the frequencies that we're supposed to, but it still sounds like us. Like it still sounds just huge. It still sounds like emotional and, it still feels like City of Sound. I've only heard the name. I love that Whispers. So I want this song to start a part on the album where I want it to be like kind of the part of the story of like whoever the listener is like they're in this part of the story where like they're really about to give up, but it's actually a really hopeful song. And it's kind of about like they hear these like the faintest of whispers of like something telling them to keep moving on and to keep moving forward. I personally connect it with like the idea of like all of y'all, there's so many listeners that like I've never met and I've never seen. And like every time they like share our music, every time they like share our music with someone, every time they leave a comment on one of our songs, it's kind of like having these little whispers that like, you keep feeling like you want to give in and call it. But like every time you have a listener do that, like it's like having this little whisper that that tells you to keep going. Like these little moments that like reach out to you and kind of pull you out of the deep. For me, your music is prime. Listen, sitting out, looking at us. Yes, Melinda, exactly. You get it. You get it. And so Whispers, I want it to be a song that when the listener hears it, it makes them, whatever they're dealing with, even if they're not dealing with anything, I want it to hit them in an emotional way. This idea of like there's hope on the horizon. Like there's these little whispers of hope that happen every day that are around you. Look, the world is in a dark place right now. We all know that. But there are these little moments of whispers, these little moments that like even like the world gives us, like even like earth gives us, even like the sky gives us at night. There's these little whispers everywhere that like you can find hope in. You know, you can find something to like believe in. You can find something to hold on to. And so I want this song Whispers to deliver that. So here I'll play it. None of these have like the vocal demo on it. Instead of Dark Bedroom. But you'll just hear a little bit of the demo music. I've been composing this one for a while. I'll sing like real low, like storyteller vibes, you know? Kind of jump it here. Something like that, you know? I'll answer you in a second, Chris. Yes, exactly, Melinda. Exactly. Yes. And that's what I want it to do. And then this will be the chorus. Drowning deeper in the bed. Yes. Yes. And like, y'all know Nova's going to just crush that piece. Not going to lie, but the instrumental you had on Silent Emperor got me hooked, line of sinker. Can we have, so we're going to kind of have a rule on every album that we have 3 instrumentals no matter what. That's just something I'm pretty passionate about because I think it's what makes us unique too. And it's just something that I love to do. I love like composing instrumental pieces. So we're definitely going to do that. Chris asked a really good question. How many songs will be on the new album? So with where we are on the GoFundMe, we can pretty much get like 5 right now, but I am going to plan on doing 10 because obviously 5 is not an album. I'm planning on, we are going to go for 10 songs plus 3 instrumentals. So 13 total. So we'll have like 10 full songs and then 3 like musical instrumentals that will help transition the story. That's the plan. And I want the album, just like Silent Empire, I want the album to be almost an hour long or an hour long, just like Silent Empire. I think that's what also separates us from a lot of bands is, you know, we put a ton of musicianship into our songs and elements and voicings and layers and orchestration. And I think having a hour-long album, just like Silent Empire, it's a good standard for us to set because most people don't do that anymore. And I mean, many of y'all have seen vids of our shows or seen us live, you know. We want our shows to feel like a story. Like, not that we're telling a constructed story, but we want people to go from the beginning to the end of our show feeling like they've just been through like an adventure with us. You know, they've been through this super hopeful experience. And so I think we're always going to keep that structure in some way for our albums because I think there's something really powerful in it. I love the fact you're trying. I love that. 13's your lucky number. Oh, I love that. And Chris, Melinda, oh yes, Chris, yes. I actually on this song, I'm working on a lyric that I actually have written up here. I love callbacks to like songs of our past, and obviously like not all of our new, especially new listeners won't pick it up, but for all y'all who've been deep for a while, you'll pick it up. And cause you know, the song's called Whispers, right? And I have this line of, I come once again to the lords of waters deep, who saved me from the distant waters and telling me to breathe, which I think is like a really cool line. Wait, did I write that whole thing down here? Here, 1 second. Let me make sure I actually do have that. Let me make sure I have this. But I think that line is just such a cool, I don't know. I think it's cool. And I love calling back Lords of Waters Deep because it's a song on the album not many people know. But in terms of a story, it's perfect for like what the story of this album is. But obviously we're not going to like redo Lords of Waters Deep. But I'm like, I can call those songs back to the imagery. And like the lyric, I feel like still lands. Like people can understand that. You know? It's one of the reasons I love you guys so much. I was raised on folks like Celine Dion and Meatloaf. Oh, I love that bad. That's cool. So I'm going to do like a callback to Lords of Waters Deep on Whispers just for a moment. Just because I also think it's a cool way to like pay homage to our, like, you know, our fan base is small right now. And it's a cool way to like make them seen, which is perfect for this album, Destination Arrival, which what this album story is. It's perfect to like give little callbacks that make even your older fan base feel seen, like feel like you're doing something that only they can connect with. So I'm definitely gonna do that on this song because I think it will be a really cool moment. And then like here, like this is a darker. Actually, here's a little string opening which I worked on, but Nova hates it right now because the sample strings sound terrible. She complains about it all the time. But I love this. Just like highlighting Nova for a moment, like a whole little big energy piece. You know, and just giving it all these moments. And then just blasting it. You know, this is all demo. Focus is speaking. You know. You know, it's super demo, so it'll be amazing when it's actually written. There's a thin line in this album will kill or heal me. Well, his hope is a healing. That's really funny. You know, and I want that song to be more of like a hopeful, big, bright song. I don't have a name for that one yet. Sometimes I have names before I even go in. Like Destination Arrival, I had the name first. Whispers, I had the name first. Graves or Gardens, I had the name first. But then like this darker song, which will kind of, you know, it'll take part in like the darker part of the story of the album. Both is good. Which I love this. I got to work a lot on this one. But I'm going to create a really beautiful piano piece to open this one. And I would be singing right here. I have like the melody. It's very cool. But then I'm going to do what's called a retard in music. And a retard is when you slow down the music gradually. And that's how I'm going to end the piano line. And end the piano line. And then we're going to have a bunch of synths and delays. And then this guitar hits. Like John just comes in ripping. And like I'm hitting a huge vocal already right here. And then it's going to be gripping. Like it's a huge vocal. I already have some lyrics for it that I'm excited about. And it's going to drive, you know. And then we're going to do another retard right at the end there. We're going to like have it, we're going to slow it down and grow. I'm going to hit this huge note, like classic City of Sound, big soaring note. And then even though the song sounds really dark, we are going to completely turn it on its head in like a Ode of She, I For One vibe, where it's going to go from this really dark place to just bright and beautiful. And it's just going to turn into like this bright and beautiful moment. And if some of y'all remember, I had an old title for an album we were thinking about doing for a while. And I think I'm going to call this song Lunar Traveler Solar Chaser. And it's kind of like it takes part in the story where like you're finally coming to the moment from turning from the adventure where like you're stuck in the dark and all of a sudden you come to the horizon and like you start to see Arrival, like this place called Arrival. You start to see Arrival. And I think that's going to be really cool on that song. And this is good for me to talk it out because I'm actually talking it out and like really confirming kind of what's in my head. So this is actually a really good songwriting session. Even though I'm not necessarily writing, this is actually really good to talk out with y'all. Heal and make us all indestructible. Yeah, that's right. We be building that guitar hit like something whisper. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Everything that you kind of hear is just super demo. It's just for me. Like I build it out just so I can start to write to it. And then I'll start to arrange everything. And then we will get everything, like all the pieces and sounds together. That sounds a lot like City of Sound songs I love. Yep. Well, the cool thing is on this song is I'm saying like these lyrics every once in a while of like till we find, because it's like just make it through the darkness, like just make it through the darkness, like right, like the lunar traveler, then the solar chaser, and it's like until we find blah blah blah. And then I say until we find, and then right at the end before it turns like beautiful and bright and huge, I say until we find. And then I grow my vocal, like find, it's huge, right? I'm growing my vocal. I'm soaring like this huge high note. Everything chokes. And then all I say is the word home. And then we're going to turn it just bright. And then that's when like the solar chaser part comes in, where it's like you just came across the horizon. You see Arrival, and like you're finally starting to make it there. And I think it's going to be really powerful for people just to hear that one word, like till we find home. And hear that one word home and then just hit them with just this huge, like beautiful, bright, like angelic turn. That's just huge guitars, big piano octaves, all that stuff. So that's something that like I'm really excited for. Because I don't want to throw away Lunar Traveler Solar Chaser as like a project. And I'm like, well, I want a song on Destination Arrival that is that name. And so that's something I've been thinking about for this song. I think it kind of fits it really well because it kind of feels like the nighttime at the beginning, and then it gets aggressive and it's dark and it's like intense and it's desperate. And then we turn it into just like a beautiful, into a beautiful, powerful moment. I've actually already almost filled in my hour talking over the concepts, but this is actually really helpful, Madness. It helps me because it allows me to speak it out with all y'all and like with our listeners, and y'all know us better than anybody. So like it helps me to kind of speak out the story and what I'm thinking on everything, and kind of confirm it a little bit. It actually makes me attached to it a little bit more by speaking it out to you. So like, here's what I'll show you. Like, this is kind of like the album, at least as of right now. Now this could change, right? Y'all know all this could change, but kind of what I'm thinking right now, I need big enough. Why would it let me? I need big enough font. Why would it make me do my size there? That's crazy. I need big enough font so y'all can see it. Oh no, I just shut it down. That's okay. So like here, this way you can see it. There we go. Y'all can read that. It's big enough. So like album title, right? Destination Arrival. Like here's the central theme. All this way just to get to the beginning. Side by side. Like side by side. taking the taking the adventure together through the dark in chase of the day. Let's say like this is the whole concept right here. Like I just wrote this out real quick. But like this is the whole idea. Like all of this story and all this struggle to get to our arrival with where like our story actually begins. All this way to get to like the beginning of our actual story. Speaking to the dog bobblehead, I do that. Oh, I like that. And so it's like it's just like a cool way to kind of go through this. So like, oh, and actually the opening line of Destination, I'm leaking some lyrics right here. The very opening line of Destination Arrival, the first lyric is all this way to begin, which I think will be really cool. Let's get this down here though. I was going to kind of show you like a roadmap. So like, here's how I kind of like envision the album. This is actually good for me to write out. So we have Destination Arrival right here. We have the whole, it's not letting me underline, cool, whatever. Okay. Thank you highly. I appreciate you. I'm just a big dumb hick who's trying to make hopeful music for people. I'm just trying to give people, a reason to stick around another day, right? Find some hope in a relatively dark world, So here's how I kind of imagine it. So like, I want to kick off the album with an instrumental because I think that's a good practice that we did on the first album. And you're going to get in trouble with Nova, I know, because I'm leaking. Like instrumental 1, establish what the beginning of this story is, right? Then I actually think we're going to start with Graves or Gardens. I think it's the perfect opener because it establishes the story right away. It's like this perfect, I don't know, it's kind of like a perfect start to it. Then I think we hit Destination Arrival, title track. Like the story keeps going. Both these songs are in relatively the same story concept. So it just like kind of makes sense. Or what we can do is start with Whispers because it kind of does start that story too, which is interesting. Or Whispers can be somewhere in the middle. And then like we'll have a couple songs here. So like we'll go through like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then like 6 will be a song that some of you might recognize. It is not going to sound the way that you think it does because you heard it a long time ago. And I have completely rearranged. I have completely rewritten and completely recomposed it. So it is not going to be what you think it is. There is a song that was one of our demos that was awesome. But I have actually caught a concept for it for the story here in Destination Arrival. And it sounds completely different. It is a ballad, like a cinematic, beautiful, huge ballad. But it was a song called Afterglow. And I'm going to take a similar concept to what that song is and implement it into Destination Arrival. And I've thought about some other things, whatever. But I want this to kind of be the turn that kind of starts getting into a darker spot. Actually, you know what? I wanted to find, well, this would be like instrumental 2. In the same way we did like Silent Empire, breaking down like these chapters, these stories. Yeah, but Carts, did you just hear what I said about Afterglow? I hope you did. If not, though, it's all good. And then like I want to come with here with like Lunar Traveler, Solar Chaser. So I want to come hit there like with some of the darker songs, have another darker song. So it's like then we're at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then maybe have another piano ballad, like a more like piano, like coat of arms like song right here. But then we would come to instrumental 3. And then this is where we would have like other brighter songs like that string idea I just showed you. Another song. And then I want to end every album with like an 8.5 minute finale, just like we did Silent Empire with Odo She. And I do have a song that I had come up with a concept of a while ago that's called We Are Kingdoms. And it's kind of the idea of like you finally made it to arrival. You've made it to the beginning. So you've made it to the beginning. Now what do you do now that you made it to the beginning of your story? You've been through all this tragedy and all this journey together. You've been through this whole adventure together. Now what do you do? And so I think that's kind of like a really cool way to end the whole album with like an 8.5 minute just anthem. And so I've been working with a song called We Are Kingdoms. Yeah, so this is like kind of my idea on how I want to break down Destination Arrival. Now this could change, obviously. But I do love the idea of like having this instrumental, then opening with actually like a beautiful orchestration piece called Whispers, that song I showed you, because there is something beautiful of starting with this really emotional song that draws you in, and then all of a sudden you just rip Graves or Gardens or Destination Arrival. Like Destination Arrival could be right after Whispers, honestly. Like just go big, like we could do this depending on how I want to run the story and what the lyrics become. But we just go hard, like we just rip. So there's a lot of things to start going through here that I'm intrigued by. But yeah, this is kind of the map out right here. So we'd be like, have another song here, have another song here, have another song here. I want this album so much. It's coming. Get ready for June. Let's just keep growing. Look, Madness, I'll be honest, all we need you to do is just keep sharing the songs we have now, because they're brand new to the vast majority of people on the earth. So just keep showing the music we have now, like our back catalog, and just help us to keep pushing. I think even today I think we were only 60 listeners away from maintaining 5,000 monthly listeners finally again. So like we're only 60 listeners away. And so it's like the only thing that I would ask of you is like keep sharing our back catalog with people. Keep sharing it out there. Try to keep gaining listeners, because I'm going to be working my butt off for the next several months getting this done, so that way we can launch it in June. Yeah. I want to launch it right before the festival circuit. I'm going to try to submit us to as many festivals as possible, and I think that's how we blow up, Madness. I think we start dropping singles in January, some music videos, get the hype rolling, and then we roll out Destination Arrival as like the album of the summer. I think it's the only way that we're going to survive. It could be. Look, let's be honest. Look, Madness, let's be honest. Like, this is our last shot, in terms of like what I have left, to be completely honest. But I believe in it. And, we've had this discussion, a while ago where I'm like, but I'm all in. And if it doesn't work out and we can't break through and make at least a success enough off of it that we can like live off of it as a band and like off the success, then man, we put together 2 unbelievable albums, incredible singles that we put out in between those albums, and we had an amazing fan base that like got us there. And I can go out on my shield for that. I can. And so I'm just gonna be working my butt off to make this as good as possible. So that if we can get booked on those side stages on those festivals, we would release the album in June, and then we would tour off the album at those festivals, which is how you explode. It's how every label explodes their bands, like their signings. You put them on the festival circuit, you let them play their most recent project, and it just skyrockets you. Then you get pulled onto a big tour in the fall, and then that's it. You've done it. Like, you've succeeded. And I think that's the plan. Because I think this is a perfect album for the summer. I mean, don't y'all think so? With the way all these sound, they all sound like songs you can sit outside like in a warm summer night, and just listen to these. So yeah, there's the plan, Madness. There's the plan. A little spot into my mind, I guess. Shine a little light just into my brain. And at the end of the day, like I can hang my hat on, like we never lost our message. Everything we put out there did always end in hope. And we never sold our soul to the industry in order to gain. We never changed who we were in order to be given something, and we never compromised who we are and did anything that we would know meant it was never truly earned. And I think that that's something I can hang my hat on. I really can. Like, I really can. Especially with the team we got now. You know, like, John's been awesome, dude. Love having that guy, like, by our side and encouraging and believing. He's working on some stuff for us right now that I hope comes through. If we're going to do it, it's going to be in the next year. And like, I'm excited about it. I'm not worried about it. I'm not stressed. We just have to keep growing. We just have to keep gaining listeners. And I tell you what, Madness, even when we were Dragon Con, every new person that we met that listened to our songs is now our listener. So I have realized all we have to do is get in people's ears. Our biggest holdback is exposure. That's it. That's it. And so, like, the festival circuit, you know, continually sharing our music out. I'm probably going to do a big post tomorrow about getting people to help us get to 5,000 consistent listeners. And then it's just off to the races, y'all. It's destination arrival. This whole next year will literally be the story of this album and our listener base going through this story with us, which is what the story is, which is awesome. Like, our listener base, the Madness, will literally be experiencing the story of the album as we go through it. I mean, that's a beautiful thing, right? I mean, come on. Like, there's nothing that's more hopeful and, like, uniting and making people feel like they're a part of something and purposed and worthy than that, you know? And I can hang my hat on that. Like, I can know that, like, I did something good for people, which at the end of the day, that's all we're chasing. We're just chasing to do good, you know, and leave people with something that they can have forever, that when they feel like shit, they can hold on to, you know, and it gives them a glimpse of hope, you know, for what's coming in their life. And I'm like, if that's what we're here for, if that's what we were put on this earth for, I can live with that. I can live with that. And that's why I love Chris. Like, I totally know. I know that. And that's what I love, is like, all right, we're in this one. We're all in this deep together. And that's the story of the album, which is crazy that it's kind of happened like that. So there you go, Madness. There's a little bit of insight on the writing and what's going on. Yeah, there's a little bit of the insight on the writing. Yeah, I love y'all. You know, maybe I should cut something for content. Should I? Maybe I should say something like that for content or something. Here, let's try this again. I agree, you have done something good. Thank you. Oh, Cartu, you're so sweet, dude. Here. This is going to be kind of disingenuous, but it is good content for me to post tomorrow. Yeah, I think I'm going to post something out tomorrow. You know, just because we're 60 listeners away from getting to 5,000 consistent listeners. And honestly, just because, like, at the end of the day, if this is our final album and, you know, we know that we left something behind that did some good and something that people can have forever, you know, that makes them feel hopeful, and it gives them something to listen to when, you know, all seems dark and all seems lost. I can hang my hat up on that. You know, I can go out on my shield on that, knowing that even this second album, if it doesn't get us to where we wanted to go, it at least gave what we wanted to give. And I think that is more important than anything. And it's all because you came with us and you did it with us. And that means more to me than anything, honestly. Okay, Madness, I know that was really disingenuous to cut it like that, But I did just say that, and then I was like, you know what? I should post that out to all of our listeners. I think that's an important thing for all of our listeners to like know and hear, that like, this is we're all in. We're all in. And I'm excited about it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll post that on socials just so at least our other listeners who aren't here can know that like that's how we see it. And also that way they can also see all this stuff too. Hey Chris, happy birthday, dude! Y'all, it's Hughesy's birthday. Hit him with a happy birthday. That's amazing. I cannot imagine life without City of Sound. But you know what, Cartoon was beautiful is we put out like the second album, even if things don't go our way, which I believe they will. I genuinely do. I believe they will. I think we are setting ourselves up for some amazing, amazing story that's coming. Even if it doesn't, you will never be without City of Sound because you will always have those songs and that story. You'll always have like those songs. And I have always said like every song we make is yours, right? Like every song that we write is for the madness. So don't worry, you'll never be without us. Love over fear, you get it. That's why we hold on to, right? We hold on to the love. I'm not going to fear the failure. I'm going to hold on to the love that's going to get us to whether or not we fail, which is a beautiful thing. All right, Madness. I actually now have to help Nova. I have to help Nova with some engineering stuff on some of her violin vids that she's cutting for content, which y'all got to check out her violin videos. They're amazing. Madness, I love you all. I love you very much. Yeah. Hey, if you want to, share our music out with some people tomorrow or today. See if we can hit that 5,000 mark. Just because sadly numbers do matter to everyone else. But I also think it's a good uniting thing. And I love you very much. And we appreciate you. Thank you for, y'all have already gotten us to $15,000 on the GoFundMe, which means everything. So thank you. That's insane. That's insane. It's amazing. I appreciate you. Yeah, I will send her your love. So I'm going to help her work on those videos right now before I call it a night. Madness. Y'all are everything to us. We love you so much. And y'all know how this goes. I'm going to say it all the time. You are purposed. You are worthy. You are built for this shit. And you are our greatest hope. And we love you very, very much. So, I'll see y'all this weekend. I'm recording a video tomorrow night, with the band boys. Cause John and Chris and I are going to do some gaming. We're going to play Rocket League and I'm going to edit it together for the gaming channel. To kind of generate some really fun revolving content that is music on my channel, then gaming on the gaming channel. And I'll keep all my personal stories here and like fun stuff. I think it's going to create a lot of fun juju. Hey, I love you too. And y'all are everything to us. And, yeah, I might stream this weekend or something, but regardless, I'll post a couple vids, just for fun to communicate, see everybody. I love you, Madness. Y'all have a good night. Okay. Mwah. You're the best.